Hey guys, it's Robsy back with Paperless Student. In today's video, I will be walking you guys through how I study in Marginnote 3. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe if you're looking for a solution to go paperless with your studies or your business. And if you're already subscribed, make sure you turn on your notifications so you know when I release a new video. Most of you guys already seem to know Marginnote 3, so I thought it would be more useful if I showed you how to use the application and how to navigate it than if I did a review of the application. Reason being, last time I attempted to review this application the traditional way, I didn't finish doing so because the application has too much to go through. So it is better, I think, to walk through the functions in the application as I use the app for my daily activities. And I feel this way we will be able to completely break down the application so that it can become easier for you guys to navigate through and use it. So the first thing I did for this study session was I created a new category. Since Marginnote 3 is my new PDF editor, I'm going to be adding more documents into the application. So now I'm trying to make sure that it is highly organized so that I can easily find my notes. Marginnote is not a simple PDF editor. It is more of a study tool, and I highly recommend it for anyone doing research or anyone who enjoys active learning because this application allows you to do that. Then I went on to create a new notebook for the topic which I will be studying today in this video, which is arterial hypertension. I am then taken to this window where I pick out the textbooks that I would like to add to my notebook for this study session, and I have a lot. I had some notes in Notability and Liquid Text on my iPad Pro 2015 that I also quickly added to the ones that I already had in my Marginnote 3. So once I added all of them, I went through this gruesome task of finding my topics in all the 8 resources that I have in the notebook. It was a bigger pain for those PDFs that don't have an outline, but even for those with outlines, the PDFs that I'm using right now don't really have sophisticated exact outlines. So I still had to do a lot of scrolling through the documents. Most people would just search for the topic using the search tool, not me. Apparently, when it comes to navigating through documents, I like suffer life. Traditionally, I wouldn't normally annotate on the actual PDF. It's a principle indoctrinated in me while I was growing up, since I had to leave my textbooks for my younger siblings. And I also used a lot of library books, which I still do. So I couldn't actually annotate on them, and I just grown this character of not annotating or highlighting, underlining anything on PDFs or on any textbook. So it took a lot of willpower for me to actually break that habit. I still feel a little bit bad, but I keep telling myself it's a digital book, you can't do any harm to it, so that kind of makes me feel better. So you guys already know that I am an active learner, so up to this point that mostly involved me taking a lot of rough notes. Not anymore, at least not when I'm using Marginnote 3, because it allows me to actively learn without creating rough notes, which is much more fun. The next thing I did was change my settings on how my annotations will be treated. Since this is a notebook, I didn't want my notes to be grouped according to the document or table of contents. That would make everything very difficult to understand. Essentially, what I'm doing in this study session is collecting my study material to make a mind map, which I will use for creating my final study notes. So I want my annotations free, which gives me the freedom to connect them exactly where I want them to be. Hopefully you'll understand this as I go through the session. These are all the textbooks I have in this notebook freely floating on the mind map. This setting I just adjusted makes sure that my notes are independent of these bubbles here. So once I found all my notes, I then went on to add them to this comparison window. Like the one you get in Liquid Text, I can compare 3 textbooks at a time, and I can even have the same textbooks in the 3 sections, which is awesome. I'm not sure how that will be useful though. You want to see different parts of the same book at the same time? Well, that's essentially the idea. Just my notes, and now I am ready to study. So Marginnote 3 has 2 sets of tools. It has exempts tools that extract information into mind maps, and it also has annotation tools that allow you to write on your PDF. And this is a fixed lasso tool, the one that I'm using right now. It selects fixed shapes, a rectangle to be exact, and you can just adjust it accordingly. I then connected those two because they belong together. I will just fast forward some repeating stuff and then slow down when I need to explain something. I thought of cutting out some sections, but then I thought maybe it would be interesting for some of you guys to actually see what I'm doing. So I kept all the steps. So if there's nothing to explain, if I've already explained it, I'm just going to fast forward it. You can add annotations to your mind map, but here is what kills me. It covers up the textbooks. This makes me mad every single time. There is a whole empty space here on the left. Why can't I see my textbooks anymore? They could just move this whole window to the left and everybody's happier. Well, especially me. I'll be very happy. For studying, I'm trying to be positive here. For studying, it helps because then each time I want to add annotations to my notes, from my textbooks, I actually have to remember it, memorize it to my short-term memory, and this helps me with learning. But I still feel this tool will be much more useful if I could actually see the textbooks. So my handwriting experience is great. It is as good as it is in Liquid Text, maybe even better. Actually, I would probably compare the handwriting feeling as the one that I have in Notability. For me personally, when I say compare it to Notability, it just means it is very comfortable. One of you guys asked me to compare handwriting when I do the review, which I will do, but I just thought I'd mention that the handwriting experience has improved dramatically from the one that they had in Marginnote. I really enjoy annotating navigating in this application. So the going back and forth to check the text for this tool I find can be quite tiresome, but it incorporates active learning in a way, so it keeps me alert, and I'm having mixed feelings, mixed emotions about this. Maybe after using the application for some time it will start annoying me. I'm not sure. You can also add text to your edits. So here is an outline of my mind map. You can choose to view either a mind map or an outline, and I personally prefer mind maps, but the outline is useful for editing the mind map, which I will demonstrate in a bit. And so I tend to switch from one or the other, but I mostly use the mind map because I like the idea of mind maps, of actually seeing different things connecting with each other. The application allows you to research without leaving the application and without leaving your workspace, which is very, very useful and handy. I cannot overemphasize this. I can annotate my mind map from the notes in my research window without it actually covering the research window. Bravo! I really like the fact that I can research something while I'm studying and I don't need to exit the application. So when your research window is open, any tab that you tap will get searched automatically, which is great. But personally, I find it a bit annoying because I use specific online resources, not just random ones. So I'm not really keen on randomly searching Google, which the research tab does for you. So I would like to stay on the same page every single time, but no worries because I can easily just go back with the back icon and I'm back to where I was before. my battery ran out, and so I went to sync the notebook via iCloud so I can pick up my study from there on the other iPad. And this was the biggest pain in the world. The application took a very long time to sync, and after about an hour later, 2 of my textbooks didn't load at all, and I ended up studying something else for a while my iPad Pro 2018 was charging. I then decided to merge all these tabs together because all these points are related, and so I used my outline to do this, and I selected the tabs that are related and I just merged them. So this is the first part of how I've used this application so far. There is still a lot more you can do with the application, which I will get into with successive updates. I'm hoping that I will be able to break down this application for you guys so that you can completely understand and know exactly how to use it for everything that it can do for you. So I hope you found this video useful. Give it a thumbs up if you did. If you guys have any questions you'd like me to answer about Marginnote when I do the review, let me know in the comment section down below. I will first do demonstration videos before I review the application. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.